Checking, checking, checking.
Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Checking one, two, checking one, two. Is this thing on? How are we doing? Check one, two, check one, two. Check one, two. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to 2 Months Podcast Live. This is pretty wild. I don't really need these anymore. Welcome. We're so glad that you guys are here. Wherever you're watching from, wherever you're listening from, if you're on YouTube right now, welcome. We are so glad to have you guys. We have never done anything like this before, so this is all very new to us, but we are going to figure it out as we go. But thank you guys for tuning in. We got some more people that are going to be coming in here in a little bit. Let's see here. But man, we're happy to have you guys here. Wherever you are from, wherever you're watching at, welcome. Come on in. The water's hot. We're gonna have a great time tonight. I'm excited to hop on with some of the peeps today, and just gonna be talking about some different stuff and figuring out how we can just kind of get better in our own relationships and our own stuff. So it's going to be a good time. But man, we're happy to have you guys here for real. For real, for real. Check one, two, check one, two. Let me see. Recording. Check, check, check. We'll make sure everybody can hear me okay. Make sure everything is good over here. Oh. Okay.
I made it.
Start the show.
Man, I'm just glad to be here.
Oh my goodness.
Hi guys.
Hey. How are we doing, guys? How are we feeling?
Bilo, what's so funny? Hi Bilo, how are you?
I'm doing good, Faith. It's good to see you.
It's good
Bilo,
to see you.
I should have wore a hoodie like you, Bilo. I don't know why I didn't.
Man, cause you got to be inconspicuous. I feel like
wow.
I'm trying to be in my, you know what I mean? I'm just chilling.
Oh wow.
Inconspicuous.
Guys, can you guys hear me okay? I want to make sure everybody can hear me. I was kind of talking low, but I just want to make sure everybody can hear me solid.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm good. I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear. Oh
How we feeling,
man,
Faith?
I'm feeling great. I just went to the gym. I'm trying to get like Bilo.
It
was
Aren't we all
great.
trying to get like Bilo?
I
nah.
need to get hand gloves. I need to get like lifting gloves because I'm getting little calluses in my hand because I'm such a gym baddie.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see that?
I can see it. I see it.
Okay.
Put that work in.
Want to see the other one? Okay. Yeah, it's serious. It's serious.
What did you do today?
I did arms, triceps,
Beautiful.
biceps. Yeah. Yesterday I did legs.
So Faith is about to be a certified doctor, like here pretty stinking soon. So just saying below. Same thing. So I'm just letting you know you better get prepared for anytime you're sick, anytime you're injured. They gonna be
better not ever see you in the emergency room.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy. Nurse Faith gonna be nuts.
I'm like, if you want another, I'm like, I can fulfill your prescription. I got you. I'm like, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm like, I got it.
Oh my God.
No, but I'm excited though. I really am gonna be a nurse. But I'm already so nurturing and hospitable. So
So it's natural.
It just come natural.
Hilarious.
I don't know if y'all see my podcast setup.
I see you. Now you came prepared. I ain't got nothing behind me.
Yeah, it's a little dry over there.
It's a little dry. It is.
Stuff going, but I definitely feel like my connection might be a little crazy. Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like my connection might be kind of wild right now.
I feel like on Riverside, it looks fine. On Instagram, it doesn't look fine.
How do I do
It's
that?
like it's worse on Instagram.
See, that's what I'm thinking. That's how I feel like it looks right here. But we'll see. We'll figure out how it goes. You know where Bilo is? I mean, you know where TJ is?
Absolutely not.
We want to get going?
And can they hear us on Instagram? Can Instagram say they can hear us? Because I don't know. Because I have the volume down. So it's like, I'm sure they can hear us.
Down. I see the people on there saying what's up.
You know, I don't think I'm on Instagram. Look.
Did you want to get on there too?
Oh, it's just like something separate?
Yeah, we were doing it both at the same time.
Oh, no. It's cool. I'm good. I like this. I like this right here.
You're definitely more than welcome.
They only might see, but if Faith is not on there, they're only going to get Byron and I's responses. So it may just be quiet on their end.
So they might want you, Faith.
So it's kind of like it makes sense if Faith is on there.
Okay, how do I?
Because right now we having the conversation. They only see me and Byron. But I'm clearly talking to Faith, but they can't see Faith.
Right, and Byron's just gonna be like this.
And Byron's just gonna be looking, and he know it's like, you know what I mean?
He's probably like this, actually smiling, like, "Oh, look at my sister." Oh,
this is also very true. These are all very true facts.
Yeah. So yeah, we need Faith on the IG live. It only makes sense.
All right, go ahead and do that.
I don't know what Terrell is.
While Faith is,
let me see what TJ is.
Hello, you find TJ. But while Faith is doing that, I want to thank everybody for hopping in, for joining in, whether you're on Instagram or if you're on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. This is the first time we've ever done this, so thank you guys for being patient with us. But we are so happy to be here. We wanted to take the conversation that we've been having on Instagram and some of these other platforms and kind of just sprucing it up a little bit, making it a little bit different. And so we decided to go ahead and put it up on YouTube. And so this will be available on podcast, depending on how the audio sounds. I think it's going to sound good, but we'll double check it. But thank you guys again, just for tuning in and hopping in with us. And it's going to be a great time tonight. We're talking about some different things based off relationships, different ins and outs, different ways that we can better ourselves and what we do and how we see things, how we view things, why are things certain ways and things like that. Before we get into it, before we step any further, before we go on to the next segment, we have actually a sponsor today, guys. But y'all didn't know that because I didn't tell you because it was a surprise. But we have a sponsor today. Today's sponsor, who is the sponsor of this episode and this podcast and this particular night, is Heaven's Fashion House. Heaven's Fashion House that's because they are a new clothing line based out of Atlanta, and they got some dope merch. This is actually one of them, super dope. It is a Christian-based, let's see, we'll get it on the thing. Yeah, Christian-based situation, and it's super dope. They just dropped me off one of these oversized tees. Absolutely love it. I think I might sleep in it tonight. And
are they gonna give the rest of us the group, or are they just giving you? You don't want to get the good stuff. Because you know what, that flyer today was kind of crazy too. You had the whole 80% of the flyer, and we had 5% at the bottom. I thought that was hilarious.
Y'all are so beautiful that you didn't need more. That's honestly what
it was. Yeah. I feel that.
So let me finish the ad. So thank you guys so much, Heaven's Fashion House, for dropping off some merch and for also providing some for some of the rest of the team. And if you would like to purchase some stuff from them, just tell them that the 2 might sent you guys, XX might sent you guys, and they will hook you up with some stuff. So yeah, thank you, Heaven's Fashion House. Let's give it up for Heaven's Fashion House one time. Yes, thank you so much. Hallelujah. Yes.
Appreciate all the work that you do.
Good stuff. All right. Well, I know TJ will be up here in soon. So, but while we are waiting on him, I said we're going ahead and get into it. Be like, what you?
Let's do it. Let's rock and roll. I forgot the topics. I ain't gonna lie, but
I
am ready. But I am ready though. You gotta stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready.
Hi, Julie.
Stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready. We do have some family and some people that are on the Instagram as well. So thank you guys. You can go ahead and keep on sending in questions and different stuff while we're doing this as well. And we'll make sure to have you guys on a situation. So, we got TJ on Instagram, but not on YouTube. My
We
guy,
need you
that's
on
all right.
Riverside too, my guy. See what I'm saying?
Mm.
At least he came before we got started. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is true. TJ, how are you, sir?
We can't even hear him because he's not on Riverside.
Yeah, no,
You realize that
he'll
right
work
now,
it out.
Byron?
Yeah, no, yeah, he'll work it out. Yes, that's that
You
is
see how
exactly
life
right,
works?
TJ. Yes,
You know what I mean? I'm not a professional. I'm just saying we ain't gonna hear him until he get on Riverside.
yeah, we're not gonna hear you take it on Riverside. So once you do that, again, guys, this is our first time doing this. We are figuring this stuff out as we go, and as we on the fly with it. We do got some people on YouTube, aka one of our biggest fans, which is Linnell Van. She literally shares so many of our stuff. So thank you, Linnell, for all that you do. She is thebomb.com, and she definitely one of our biggest supporting people on the Two Mic channel. So thank you, Linnell, for being you. All right, TJ. Once you get on Riverside, we can get you in, because again, we do not know what you were saying at all. But Bilo, you want me to get started, or you want to go?
Oh man, nah, you got it, bro. You ate Mike. It's a beautiful
All right.
thing.
All right, so tonight we kind of wanted to deep dive into some different things based off of relationships, and because we have the honor of having my beautiful sister joining us tonight, and somebody that I admire and aspire as well. Yes, yes. Faith is my youngest sister. I only have two. She is the younger one out of the two. But we thought that maybe she can kind of help us give some different insight on some different stuff. Actually, I think I might want to start with the third question or topic, because I think it'd be the best. But you know, when we're talking the other day, we were talking about modesty, and we were talking about how a lot of times women can kind of be put off as the people that need to be the most modest, whatever that means. And honestly, I would love even more definition as that. What exactly does modesty mean? But in all of that, why does it sometimes feel like women are the ones that need to be the most this, and women need to be the most that, or don't need to show this or don't need to show that, but men kind of get a free pass on what they want to do? And so I'm gonna start it off with Bilo, because I'm interested to actually hear what he wants to say, and then we can pass it on to Faith. But this conversation of modesty, how is it something that has been portrayed today, and how has it been something that has been pushed even into why men feel the opposite from women?
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I brought up this topic because one, I don't really hear it talked about a lot in church. So I haven't really heard it from my pastor, haven't really discussed it with my spiritual leaders and, my community. So it's kind of like I don't really have, I guess, right information and guidance from those kind of people. So it's
Okay.
like I haven't really been taught. So that's number one. Number two, it's like I feel like I'm really confused as well, because it's
Okay.
kind of like I think there's like a tug of war almost with not only women in society but men when it comes to the faith. That's kind of like they have the freedom to however they want to dress, express themselves, but also there's what it says just biblically, we're supposed to, present ourselves a certain way. So it's kind of like, what is too much skin, or what is like too revealing of clothing versus like, presenting what the Bible says, just kind of how to be modest. What is the definition of modesty? What does that look like in today's society? And I haven't really just talked about it even with women. So that's why I'm glad we have Faith on here, because so we can have that kind of discussion. Because I know there's, scriptures in the Bible that says like we have to be aware of how we dress and how we present ourselves, because it could tempt the other brothers in the church. Should the brothers, not be tempted? Obviously, but also, what I mean, it's kind of like, how do we how does it look? What does it look like? What's the conversation like? So I think that's kind of like where I'm at with it, and versus where it's like I wanted to have this conversation because really never had the conversation before. So my thoughts on it is just like I know it's the biblical answer. I just don't know what that looked like.
Mm-hmm. Faith, go ahead.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whenever Byron asked
Turn
me
your
this
phone down,
question,
TJ. Sorry, Faith.
you're good. Whenever Byron asked me this question, I was like, I don't think I've ever even heard modesty or immodesty and a man in the same sentence, because
Right.
a woman being immodest is always the narrative. Like, no one ever says a man is being immodest. Like, if I were to go outside and put on a sports bra and run around the neighborhood, I could be considered promiscuous. I'd be like, that girl needs to cover up. But if a man goes outside shirtless, he's just being a man. So
Right.
I don't even know how that looks, but I do know that the Bible says that we're supposed to honor God with our bodies. So I think it's just your own conviction of what that feels like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like sagging. I know sagging could be considered a little like you're showing too much skin. You know what I mean? So I don't even know. I don't even know what that looks like. Honestly.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this. I thought it was pretty crazy that Bilo even had asked this question. Somebody said there's no need to cover up what Adam and Eve wear. No need to cover up what Adam and Eve wear. That's funny. I'll say this. Oh, TJ. Okay, so wait a minute. TJ, unmute yourself on Riverside. Yeah.
That's where we need your sound should come to Riverside. Your audio should go through your headphones through Riverside.
You still need it.
Yeah, Riverside is the main thing. Yeah. Instagram Live is not the main thing. So yeah, I knew I couldn't hear him. Still,
I knew I couldn't hear him either. What is it? Wait, is that of him?
Man,
there he is.
I'm so sick of TJ, bro.
Sick of him.
Yeah, and face the camera of the laptop. Yeah, there you go. And put the phone.
Come as you are.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, put the phone down next to the laptop. Just boom. He get it together. He gonna get it right.
TJ,
y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can hear you.
All right, good. I ain't ringing in nobody's ear, am I?
No, you're doing good.
Okay. All right.
Just make sure you turn the volume down on your phone as well, so it won't come through double sound, if that makes sense. And then we good, TJ. We ready to rock and roll, brother.
You know what, guys? We are going to get this together. I'm so proud of us.
Byron probably low-key just is furious right now.
I know he's enraged right now. But I'm trying.
I pinky promise I am not. I'm good. I honestly feel great. I think we're in a good group right now. TJ was here. I just want to make sure that we good, because if TJ's not here, everybody. So here's the thing. I really like the question. I really like the idea that there is something that can be perceived as one thing for one gender, one thing for another one, right? I think to women, it's kind of a weird kind of oxymoron where on one side, you have honestly people world that we've always lived in, where we want women to show more skin. But then on the flip side of it, we also judge them when they show too much, or if it just kind of ends up in a negative way. Or if this girl's showing too much skin, we're going to get pregnant. Oh, it's because she showed too much skin. Or if this girl did too much of this and then something bad happens to her, oh, it's because she was dressing like this. And so it's really this weird oxymoron where in between of like, is it is it not beneficial? What does the Bible say about it? What is the whole benefit in it? I would just say this: if you take out the spiritual side of it, I would just say the physical human side is that I think a lot of times we can want to throw our own perception on the situation, thinking that that's what it is and that's final. Not really full background. There was one girl that I went to school with growing up, and some people might think that she trying to dress a little skimpy, but we also wore uniforms, so there was that. But she might have dressed skimpy, but mainly just because also that she like couldn't really afford a bunch of other clothes, and she was wearing hand-me-downs. She was just a little bit larger than some of the people that she got hand-me-downs from, and so it seemed like she was being skimpy or wearing tight clothes or whatever. But that was the only clothes that she had. So it's weird, I think, how we judge people and how we can kind of make it seem like that. But I think on the men's side, I think that we, as men, I think truly continue to do a disservice when we try to throw our own shame, hatred, I think, towards, but then in the same regard, we don't really do that in the same way. We don't really do
I
that
got a
in the
question.
same regard. Go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
You know what I mean? Let's just stir it a little bit, TJ, just a little bit. And it hit me as you were talking. It's kind of like, for you and TJ, in what way? No, that's not the right way. Would you say you are okay with your wife and or your girlfriend dressing any kind of way she wants, or is it a tailored way towards a more modest kind of dressing style? How do y'all feel about y'all women? Can they dress whatever, show whatever skin, present themselves any kind of way? And if so, okay, why are you okay with it? And if not, what's the reasons why you're not okay with it? TJ, unmute yourself on Riverside.
I got you, Jay. I got
Just
your back. I
struggling.
got your back.
Just struggling.
TJ. Nope, don't touch it. Stop touching it. Don't touch it again.
Oh
I got
my
you,
God.
TJ. Go ahead.
Riverside in word. Here we go.
Oh.
So, all right. So here we go. First off, I don't feel like restriction shouldn't be whatever. But I do feel like you said it's a delicate way on how a woman who is with a man, she should be able to be, be how she looks, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say sexy or whatever. She can still look sexy without overdoing it. That's a moderate window. Now when you start going over the top, like, just because you look superb, you gotta remember, like, just because you look superb does not mean, like, when you step outside, the hyenas that's outside, they don't have the respect for you because they don't know me.
The
Like
hyenas.
once a woman leaves the comfort of her man, like if a woman is looking superb, I'm talking about, and let's do both sets of clothes. All right, let's say she's got the moderate set of clothes on, whatever. If she got the moderate set of clothes on, but she still look good, she gonna get pressed still. But if she go outside with that, like the sheer on, you could see everything. It's no
So
imagination.
so
You know what
so
I'm
no
saying?
see through. So no see through.
Nah, man, not see through.
What about chain links? Anything chain links?
Chain link, what?
Like what if they wear like something like it's like a little skirt and it's like revealing, got like little chains on it or something like that. I
Oh, you
don't
mean
know.
with like the skin and it just covered
Yeah,
it
yeah,
covered
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
no,
So you
Like a
can't.
mesh chain
no,
Yeah, no
yeah,
mesh
situation.
chain.
no.
Yeah. So how
But
short is the booty shorts? Do you
it
see
ain't none of
cheeks?
that. It ain't none of that.
So
He
where does
said
it
no
stop?
restrictions, but none of that.
None of
Yeah,
that.
you feel me?
I'm,
There's like three
I'm
restrictions
saying
right there.
look like this. She can look good still. She can look good without even having to do that. She can look good with, like, some jeans that fit her body. She can look good with
But
a
what if she
dress
wants to
that
do that? But what
if
I'm
she
asking you,
wants
what
to
if she wants to do that? Like,
if she
what are
wants
the
to do
reasons
it.
why you're telling her not to do that?
Because how I am, or like how I know the mindset of a dude, how I know the mindset of a dude, how I know how it is outside. These dudes, and I want to use the other word, but I ain't gonna use it. These dudes, these cats out here, they don't have the same respect for nothing. Like, they don't have the same respect, bro. They will push up on your woman XYZ, and then if
Okay.
you're not there, right?
Wait,
Go
do
ahead.
Yeah.
you? Sorry, do
So
you
wait,
think
wait,
it's
wait, wait,
because
wait.
that's the way?
Let
Go.
me ask you something, Faith.
Uh-huh.
You have obviously been in a relationship before, and as the
Mhm.
woman that is on this topic,
Mhm.
have you ever been out and you wanted to wear something that he thought was too revealing, and then what was that conversation like?
That's a good question.
Okay, so
And then
great
and
question.
then
That's a
and
great
then
question. I was
and
gonna
then
ask
two
him something like that.
and then two part,
Hmm.
why was it even a tiff? Like
An
if
issue.
he's like,
Why was
What
it
was
an
the
yeah,
revealing
issue?
part?
Okay, so
if he
that's
was
a
like, hey,
great
that's if he
question.
was like, hey, that's too revealing, and you were like,
Yeah.
what? Why was that?
Hmm. Okay, so I was gonna ask Carol that about the way your girl or your wife or whoever dresses. Do you think that that's a reflection of you? Do you think that she's a
Absolutely.
reflection of
Of
you?
Sorry.
Yeah.
course, of
So
course,
I think
absolutely.
that, yeah, for instance, in my situation with my ex, whenever that, came or happened, I felt like it has happened before, but at the same time, I feel like his reasoning was a little off. His reasoning was a little off. But I do believe that, like, if I were to get married or if I'm in a relationship and I'm a reflection of my man and I respect him and he wants me to look respectable and things like that, then I feel like it shouldn't be an issue. But
Mhm.
sometimes when men say that, it's not coming from that place. It's coming from more of a controlling, possessive place.
Okay, you
Mm.
have that place, and you also have the insecurity and security
Same,
conversation.
yeah, same
Because
category.
I don't want to be controlling. I don't even like that because I wouldn't want that put up on me. But I do
Mm.
feel like there is a conversation that is need to be held. It's like I said, I know what's going on out here, man. They hunting. It's like
Right.
it's like if you can
But they're gonna always
still,
be on the hunt.
they gonna always be there. But unless a conversation is had about something around that line, then it's gonna be way easier for it to be like misconstrued. Cause like I'm telling you that, yeah, you can step out however you want, but you also represent me. You represent like how I feel, my feelings about stuff. Cause like I'm taking in everything that you saying about how I'm supposed to step outside. You feel me? If you
Right,
not there,
right.
but
Linnell on YouTube said that this is something that she has battled with for years with having teenagers in her home. She said the clothes have gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. The
Mm.
styles might look the same, but the clothes is the same. She said crop tops and booty shorts is all they sell now, and it's hard to find clothes for any type of kid. So I see that. I mean, I understand that debate as
mm,
well. Where I mean,
oh, she
especially
said
when you get
kid.
to well, she said having teenagers in her home at a certain point in time. So I mean, yeah, it just gets younger and younger. I mean, the girls, we all went to high school in the same time. So were girls dressing like they're dressing now, like the girls that are dressing like, like, no, no,
They tried to at
no.
FCA. They
But
tried
but no,
to.
but they dress
I
they
don't
dress
remember.
They
they dress
tried to.
I don't,
they dress more grown now because they're
They
exposed to
do.
more.
They
So what I'm
do.
That's what I'm
saying, but
saying.
they was still starting like when we was coming up, they still was like dressing kind of like whatever, but it wasn't that exposure. Like I almost feel like a dinosaur with Instagram. Like you remember when Instagram really had like 4 filters, like and then like we're not
Yeah.
exposed to as much. It didn't have a feed, like we didn't see all that. But now you can see everything. So your mental and however your perception about life changes. So of course if you want to be fly, you're gonna put on what you think is fly because you see this person with it on, like this person of a high statue on, like
I
so yeah,
mean, I mean,
they definitely
I mean, I'll say this. I'm not
I
obviously
got a
young
question.
like that, but go ahead.
What, like, for Byron and TJ, like when you see a woman dressing a certain way, she look good, she looks sexy, or she's revealing herself. What are some of the thoughts, or what are some of the things that you see or you take away from those kinds of situations? And not, don't think of it like if you go into a club and everybody dressing the same. That's not what I'm talking about. You just say you in the mall and you just walking around. It's a family event and you see some girl dressing some type of way. What are your thoughts?
I mean, go ahead, Byron. You got it.
I mean, I'm
I
just
mean,
gonna stir the pot a little bit. I ain't gonna go that much. I'm just asking
uh,
questions.
well, I'll tell you mine, but I also want to hear Faith's answer on this. But for me, I mean, I'll probably be like, I mean, it obviously depends on also what she's wearing. Like, is she showing too
She's
much
showing
cheeks?
legs.
Is she
She's showing
showing,
legs. No,
is it
okay. I can
is
give
it
you
a
a
set
picture.
Legs is not a
I'll give
dress?
you
problem.
a picture. Let me get you a
Yeah,
picture. Let me give you a picture. Let me give
That's
you a
not a
picture.
problem.
Let me just give you a picture.
God,
I'll give you a
I don't know
picture.
if I want a
She
picture.
she's wearing legs. right? But you don't see like cheeks, but she's wearing shorts, but you see legs. You see legs. You see stomach,
Mm-hmm.
and she's wearing like a tank top, so you see, cleavage, and you see shoulders.
Mhm.
So like, you know what I mean? Like it could be a cute outfit, but it's showing. You know what I mean? It's showing.
I, I feel like that's fine. Like I feel like that's fine. It's when it's another level. Okay, I'm gonna feel like this.
What's the next level?
Okay, so the shorts, the booty shorts that is above the cheek. That's a whole nother level when you're going out into these pub. We were at a graduation on Saturday.
Okay.
Okay,
What was your thoughts when you saw her? That's a good
Your
example.
true thoughts.
my true
What's your
thoughts
true
was
thoughts when you saw her?
my true thought is really like it's kids around. Like be honest,
Mm-hmm.
like it's like because it's kids around. Like you can't. I feel like it's certain levels. Like you gonna do that. Like go to a place where that might be accepted. That's the club. That's the lounge. That's the after hour with that. But when you wearing that, man, like I feel like that's another reason why it's gotten to where it's gotten because it's like they gonna step outside just cause like oh nobody gonna say nothing to me. Like I'm gonna just put on what I'm gonna put on. And at a certain point, it's like, all right, you right. You have every right to put on what you want to put on. But it's also
Mm-hmm.
respectful. You got kids out here. You got people, grandmamas and granddaddies
I'm
out
with
here. You
that.
got
I'm with
people's
that.
mamas and stuff out here. They don't want to be seeing all that walking around here with all
Mm-hmm.
these kids. So it definitely
Well,
is just like, yeah.
somebody said, I'm watching how she moves with confidence is one thing, but when you dressing to be thirsty, that's a whole nother level. Now, say is that I definitely feel like there's a difference between confidence and modesty. Like, I've
Hmm.
definitely women have been around women where some people might perceive it as them maybe doing too much. But my thing is like they just mad confident. They're not really trying to. They're not out here trying to snatch nobody up. But then you
Mm-hmm.
Right.
definitely have those women as well that can be really like kind of stuff. So I think honestly, a lot of times it comes with the person that's actually doing it. Doing it. Why do they feel like they need to do it? But I guess what I'm really am trying to figure out is that why is it that though like even TJ and Below like men I feel like we are so passionate about this discussion and I mean I am too like I don't want to hear showing all her goods and I because they're mine as well but at the same time though we were talking about we might be going on a trip next month and I was like babe it's gonna be me and you can wear a little some if you want to you can what I'm saying maybe show a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more leg maybe show a little bit more arm what I'm saying because we're going on a trip so there's that as well. What if we're on a trip and I told my wife that I think it's okay? Somebody that's like, oh my goodness, she out here like a hoochie mama. So it's like, anyways, but again, a lot of times it's the guys. So for Faith, why do you I forgot how we kind of got back to it, but
Mm-hmm.
why is it men
Mm-hmm.
this sort of I don't want to say obsessive possession, I guess way. That's what
Mm-hmm.
somebody's saying as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like women should not be
Possession,
women
yeah.
women are not bought. We are not they're not a possession that men own,
Mm-hmm.
but it can come off as that. But we don't mean it as that. Me and Jordan made I'm hers, so it ain't like I own her, but she mine and I'm hers. So
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like, for instance, like back to the beginning of when you were saying if we see someone at the mall, if they have, if they have, their short or their butt is showing and stuff like that, it's different because I feel like, I know personally what I'm supposed to wear and what I'm not supposed to wear. I even
right.
know when I put something on and I know that it's scandalous. I can even feel it in my spirit that I'm like, I shouldn't
Mm,
be wearing this.
mm,
Hmm.
And it's just my own conviction because I know
mm,
better. So I
mm,
feel like what someone else is wearing and their own convictions has to do with them. So if I had children and if I was at the mall and my children saw this girl and she was just showing skin and stuff like that, we have no idea where she is in her life. For
right,
instance, if we're on a cruise and Jordan has on a bikini because she wants to feel, she wants to feel sexy with her husband and they're on
right,
vacation and this like
right,
that. But I could go up and be like, oh, that girl is showing too much skin. Oh,
right, 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 right,
Jesus
right, right.
Christ. We don't know. We don't know. Obviously, whenever you're in these places of like, if you're out of school or if you're like Tara was saying, if someone is, people be doing too much sometimes in these public places, a little too
Hmm.
much. I agree with that, especially around children. But at the same time, I feel like it's people's own convictions that you have to go by. We
Mm,
don't know. Like, for instance, I have someone in my life who his conviction is that he shouldn't drink because
Mm-hmm.
every time he has a glass of wine,
Mm-hmm.
it leads to a
Mm.
so that's his own thing. And then I have some friends who feel like they can have a glass of wine to wind down. So I feel like it's
Mm.
your own personal conviction, it's your own relationship with God. What y'all think about that?
Below.
I mean, yeah, I think your convictions will come to it. It should show in your life, right? So I think that you know that's kind of how it will really perceive and how it be portrayed. So it's really interesting just kind of just thinking and just hearing because even when Faith asks just kind of
All
like, oh, even when Byron asks, sorry, like why is men so, I guess, strong
that's
or care
crazy.
so much about this topic?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking like how will I answer that question? And I think it's really just because um, you just care about just how your wife or your woman is just representing you. I think it's just she is an extension of you. So it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
the way I carry myself, the way I hold myself to a certain standard. It's like I represent, not only you, my family name, but also God. So it's like I'm already living up to the standard where I'm
Mm-hmm.
representing God. I know I'm an ambassador. We know all those things, right? So it's like I want that to be evident and I want that to be shown in my wife as well. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like if these clothes are causing you to stumble in that representation, I'm gonna have an issue with it. Now I think it definitely does determine on the setting. If you're on vacation, like I said, if you happen to be in a club or you're on a cruise, if you're in a pool and you're on a beach, bikinis are being worn. Now, if you feel the conviction to not wear a thong on the beach, then maybe you shouldn't wear the thong on the beach. You can wear some more revealing swimming clothes and be still, attractive, still look good. But you just being, the woman that fears God and representing God in that standard anyway, you're gonna be set apart regardless. That's what's gonna set you apart regardless, not the
Mm.
clothes or the skin that you reveal. So it's like, to me, I believe that's like the whole reasoning, at least for me, why I'm so strong about it. Just because it can skew the message. If I act a certain way and behave a certain way as a man, it's like then I'm not representing the faith. I'm not representing God the correct way. So if it's we have to look at that in all areas of our life. And with women, that kind of area is more of a priority in their life. At least that what it seems like in today's society. So it's like I think they do have to be aware of that. I think they have to be cognizant of that. And whatever conviction is, it can be subjective, but I think that's also the importance of community too. Because I think if you don't have a community of women around to really
Mm-hmm.
talk about these things and really
Mm-hmm.
hear their ideas, hear their wives, how they dress, how they represent themselves, then it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like you already kind of started negative. Like I think that's the importance of community. So that's kind of like a long answer to that response because I was just thinking of just like why is that so important? But also it's like when we talk about it, such a hot and triggering topics because I hear all the time what men should not be telling what men shouldn't be telling women what to do with their bodies. I'm just like, that's not what I'm telling you to do. But that's always seemed like the message getting across. So it's kind of like you're just a bad guy or you the misogynist because you're trying to cover up or control women or tell women what to do to your own beliefs. It's like not necessarily.
So, well, one, great, somebody, which is, but I just want to make sure nobody's being disrespectful, especially to my family. But somebody said that, given Faith's
Mm-hmm.
pictures on Instagram, that she seems like she's down for the cause. I thought that was funny because I looked
I
at Faith's page
screenshotted.
today.
Down for
I saw
what
that one.
cause?
One, I was trying
It
to figure
says,
out what cause they were talking about, but two, I actually saw Faith's page earlier today. I didn't see anything crazy, but again, it goes to what we've been talking about, where men feel like women can't be, I think, sexy. Like when I saw Faith pictures on the thing, she just seemed very confident in her own body. I'm sorry that not every woman is confident like that. You don't know if Faith was confident like that her whole life, or if this is a new confidence for her. But automatically, you see somebody in a bikini, or because you see somebody in heels, or because you see somebody in a shirt that might show their belly button, you automatically think that they might be down for the cause. So one is ignorance, but two, I think that a lot of times for men, we have to look at it as well and be like, you know what? Let me just accept the beauty for what it is. This girl ain't got her nipples showing, crack showing, but because she looks beautiful, I automatically think she's down for the cause. I just thought that was funny, but we can digress. My homie Terrence said
I don't
this:
even have
Do
to
we
say
get?
anything.
No, you don't. I got you. Somebody said, "Do we get to choose our own convictions, or have they been defined by God already?" So as we were just kind of talking about convictions, do we get to choose our own convictions, or are they
That's a good
defined?
question.
Are they? I don't. I don't.
Mm.
To be honest, I don't correct answer. I don't want to say yes and it be wrong or say no and it be wrong, but I will
Mhm.
say this.
Mm.
Obviously, conviction comes from the Holy Spirit, and
Mhm.
the Holy Spirit does God doesn't change. And so um though people might have different convictions, I do believe that a lot of that can be based off of just the way we grew up. You got people like in Australia, for example, that Christians, for an example, that love cuss a wine at dinner. They think it's that big of a deal because in that culture, that's their conviction. And they don't feel convicted by it. Is the Holy Spirit different? Here, we were growing up that, you know what I'm saying, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that, and you
Mhm.
shouldn't do whatever. So it's just kind of hard to see what that may be. But I will say this: you know what your convictions are, because the
Mhm.
Holy Spirit done told you. Even if the people in Australia do feel that way, you know what the Holy
Mhm.
Spirit told you. You know what your convictions are, and so I believe that. And I told this to Faith the other day: if you hear the Holy Spirit telling you something, or if you're asking the Holy Spirit to give you an answer on something, it's a whole lot better just to keep your mouth shut than you asking Him and then Him tell you and then you disobey, because that's gonna make it just
Mhm.
10 times worse. And so
So
I
is
think.
the Holy Spirit
Go
my
ahead.
fault, B. So
Go
is the
ahead.
Holy Spirit for some people, would you put that as like they was it conscious?
Yeah.
Consciousness. Yep.
Consciousness, yeah, I'm tripping. Because some people, like I said, this also for people who may not be fully in tuned
Mhm.
into that realm.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
is that, I won't say they're like the same thing, but would they be almost like in the same bubble, like the Holy Spirit and the consciousness? I think
Well,
I guess.
I mean,
Mm.
the answer would be like a yes. The correct answer would be no, because unless you accept Jesus into your heart as your Lord and Savior, you don't really have the Holy Spirit. You just have common sense, which is good as well. And
Mm.
so, unless you've accepted Christ, um, and Him to come and actually live in your heart with Spirit living on the inside of you, you just have common sense. And so, there might be some women or some men that have never talked to the Lord ever, but they just have common sense to where I shouldn't do this or I shouldn't say that or that was rude or that was just whatever. I think that's just common sense. I think that there's an extra layer of that common sense that comes on when you accept Jesus. I could be wrong again, but as we were, I mean, to answer your question, I would say probably that. One more question, really, to I actually want Belo's answer on this. Uh, Somebody said the representation goes both ways, though, right? Is it the same if a man is running around talking about modesty? Is it the same with a man running around a neighborhood shortless and hoochie daddy shorts? Is it the
Mhm.
same type of that a woman should not be walking around with a bikini on and hoochie daddy shorts? Is
Oh,
is that the same way, or is it two completely different things?
I mean, I think I would say if it is two different things because I really don't know, but I feel like I have to go off of just what I know. If I go outside and run shirtless in hoochie daddy shorts, I think women will look at me, but they won't approach me. You know what I mean? Like I don't think if I even it's kind of at least this is weird because I just feel like men are predators. They're the ones that go after. They're the ones that seek. So you're more likely to get hollered at, to get approached than me times 10 just because you're a woman. So it's kind of like we can use that example and be like, well, see, I got you, but it's like it doesn't have the same outcome. It doesn't hit the same. Now, if I'm like a superstar athlete, super high status, famous guy, and I run out there with my shirt off, then women would probably come after me. So then that will have to use judgment. I would have to use, discernment and be like, you know what, this maybe not be the best idea because I'm out here tempting women and knowing I'm feeding into that temptation, you know. But I
But
don't think that same
but
example is like, I don't think it's just that cut and dry, but I hear, I get the
Wait,
question.
wait, wait. So your level of fame determines how you dress?
No, I think the level of fame determines, or the people will how they affect you. So if I'm famous, like say just a star athlete, and I run outside shirtless by
Mm-hmm.
myself, the
Mm-hmm.
odds of women approaching me is a lot higher than the average
But
guy.
what if I saw you and
Versus,
it caused me to stumble? And I was like, oh my God, look at those thighs. Like, Jesus, I've been doing so much better, God. Like, I've been,
thighs.
it could still cause me to stumble. And I
well,
know
no,
that the
that I
Bible
mean
says,
that's facts. No,
yeah. So
that's facts. I mean, I
it's
think
the same thing.
it depends on. I think it also depends on the setting. If I'm running outside, it's kind of like where you're running, you're wearing gym clothes too. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
men gonna stumble over that regardless. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can reveal a lot, you can reveal little, just because we're in this environment. Now, if I'm in the mall shirtless, in a
Mm-hmm.
place where it doesn't make any sense, then I think that's a fair comparison. So it's kind of like, and like I said, the average guy, they are not getting approached. They're not getting hollered at like the average woman. The average woman is getting approached every single day. Let alone
Mm-hmm.
her having a body and then revealing herself. We can
Mm-hmm.
multiply that times 10. So it's kind of like I hear the
especially
example. Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially on Instagram. So it's like I hear the
especially.
example, and it just, to me, it's not the same comparison just because it doesn't have the same outcome. So it's kind of like, you know,
You're kind of
I
saying
don't know.
like a man would have to do a little bit more something revealing to be equivalent to a woman, wearing something kind of too revealing
Yeah, I just think
to
that
make it on an even playing field.
yeah, it's just like that. It's just that's not really just the reality. Men can go out there and run shirtless, and like I said, they may like they may get approached, but it's not as much as a woman. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like, for us to have the even playing field, he has to be at a certain level to have that even playing field, in my opinion. Like I said, I could be wrong, but I think that's why it doesn't really hit the same.
I I feel like it's no matter however you slice it, it's still a double standard. It just is. I mean, it's just
Hmm.
you can't change it just because of just the way it has always been. Where
Is a double
people
is
are so
that but is that wrong? Is the double
that
standard a wrong thing?
yes,
Yeah,
I mean I would
Okay.
double
think so
standards are wrong. I mean, they're
because
facts, but they're wrong.
let me tell you how it's a double standard in maybe a more positive way. So my wife bought me. I wouldn't say they're hoochie daddy shorts, but they show a little thigh. I actually like them a lot, especially in the summertime. So show my thigh meat out. You know what I'm saying? I got my leg tat. You know what I'm saying? I'll be looking good, smelling good. So I went to the grocery store and I think I had on shorts and a hoodie, might have had on Crocs. And I swear these two women were in the same aisle as me, older women, maybe like 30s, maybe late 30s. And I heard them go, "Oh, girl, look at them shorts." And I legit, I promise you, and I was supposed to keep walking, but I was like, show
You
them a little
cougar
more,
bait.
little more
Cougar
ankle,
bait.
yeah, a little
Hmm.
bit. And then they were like, "We love your shorts. Where'd you get them from?" And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." I was like, "My wife got them for me." She go, "Oh, they're so good," or whatever. And then as I was walking away, she was like, something about thighs. It said something equivalent to thighs. I've only gotten that one time all of last year. And when I tell you, I've told Jordan that like 8 times, see these thighs. So I do think that it's different. Where as far as like men, I mean, I've worn those same shorts 100 times, and I didn't get that. Where Faith or any other girl can wear, I don't know, Lululemon or whatever type of whatever it may be workout outfit, and no matter
Hmm.
what they do, where they go, they will be talked about. And so I think that is the double standard where it is like, as far as men, we honestly, our first instinct when we see somebody attractive is lust. That's our first instinct. I don't think that we look at women in a way of just being like, yeah, she is beautiful. Like, she's just a beautiful girl. The first thing we think about is cheeks and thighs. And for TJ, I know he's a toe guy. So we think about toes. That's the first thing that we think about. We don't think about like the fact that she's
She got
just
a
beautiful.
bunion on her.
Right. We don't look at it like that. And so I think that that is the double standard. Whereas for one side, women are just, I mean, they are just beautiful, and there's so many different types of beautiful women. Whereas for any average guy, especially now, like I live in a college town, and so you see girls in workout stuff all the time. Earlier today, I was picking up something for Jordan, and these two college girls walked by. Were not, at least to me, not that attractive. And dang, oh my God. And my thing is like, bro, what are you doing? These girls are like 18, 19 old, and you just like a horn dog out here. So it's bad. So I will say that I
No,
think
that's
that that
real.
is a double.
He
I
just
think
missed
that's a
out on a
double
lot of
standard.
game. He just missed out on a lot. So yeah, when you get them
He
type of
did.
folks, he just missed out on a lot.
He
But
did.
yeah,
But honestly, I appreciate this conversation. It's good. All right, so let's segue into this. So when we talk about modesty, when we talk about obviously also having friends, also having people that can be in and around it with us, should you or how hold yourself, your friends, your people around you accountable? If so, what does that look like? So, for an example, let's say Faith and her out, and let's say
Mhm.
that Faith is wanting to make sure that everybody is dressing
Mhm.
modestylier,
Mhm.
and how is that best way to make sure that she is an accountable friend? Should Faith be an accountable friend for everybody? Should she not? Is she a certain people for Belo that he's more accountable to than other people? Is Belo should be accountable for everybody or not? For TJ, is he only accountable to his girl and maybe not to some other people? That limit? Where does it stop? Where does it start? How should we look at it? Go ahead.
Me?
um,
Uh,
go
yeah.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead,
All
go
right,
ahead,
good.
Faith, go ahead.
Okay. So I think accountability is a big thing for me because, I struggled with that with my mommy growing up. Big time, okay? Like
Mm-hmm.
when she would ask me where my location was or where I was like, why is she all up in my business? Like, I'm just trying to enjoy my life and this. And then one day she told me, she was like, well, Faith, accountability is for your growth. She's like, it's for your growth. Like, I want to know where you are because I love you and I care about you and things like that. So that was just kind of a little bit of that. And then I also realized that staying accountable with my friends also keeps me away from loneliness in a sense. Like if I feel like I mess up on something and I just hurry up and speak about it quickly, because I feel like the devil, one of his main tactics for me is just like he wants me to feel shame about something that I've done or in a way like that. And my mom was talking and things like that. So especially for you, Byron, you're a good accountability partner. And
Oh,
you'll call me, and it'll be a little bit like get out of my business. But
mm-hmm.
at the same time, I know it's because you love me. And so I feel like having accountability is really good, especially
So
for you.
accountability has to come from love. That's a good. I would say that's a good point. It
Hmm.
has to come from a loving place. It has to come from somebody that loves you. Do you think maybe that's
Hmm.
why we're not accountable to so many people because we, TJ?
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a good way to look at it, like, because I feel like you should have a certain, is it love for everyone, or just love for people in your circle.
Right.
So I feel like though, but I do feel like you have to start somewhere. So definitely start with the people that's around you. Um, you don't let none of your, if they your partners or your friends, your homegirl, you don't let none of them go to the wayside. We had this conversation last week. It's all about your delivery. I can deliver something to you in love without it sounding disrespectful, without it going over the top, without it going left, and we can sit there and have conversations because we supposed to be like this. We supposed to be like
Hmm.
this. So I should be able to do that for you. But then you have these people who feel like uh they feel like every time somebody says something to them, it's a pull at their character. It's a pull, a put like why you trying to get me to do
Right.
this and that. But realistically though, all I'm seeing is I'm seeing something in you that I'm trying to pull out of you that you're not seeing in yourself. So I'm just trying to push that on you and just make sure that you stay on this path because it only takes one time, like for something stupid to happen or something that can cause you to defer. And if I'm seeing this thing go on, but you done dodged it enough, but I know it only takes one time, I'm not being an accountable friend. I'm not being an accountable partner. because I see these things happening to you, but I'm not verbalizing them to you. So, but when it comes to people outside of that circle, I think that's where I was struggling because if I don't really rock with you, or if I don't even like know you like that, I feel like I don't have an accountability to you. Like I don't have
Mm,
like this. I don't feel like I have this tie to you. So it's like whatever you we haven't had a conversation, like we don't intertwine it like that. So you don't know me, I don't know you. So who am I to tell you that whatever decisions you making are wrong? Because I don't know what you got going. Wrong is wrong, right is right. But that's just what it is to me. If I don't have no whatever with you, then I just feel like me. I kind of move to the left. But if I've had conversations with you and you are, what I'm saying, someone who I have, ties with, I'm going to acknowledge a lot of stuff. But that's because we've had conversations and we've had, deliberations about stuff. But I
I
don't
feel
know.
that.
I guess, you know,
Below.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think accountability is needed. I think it's necessary, and I think it displays true love through a friendship, through a brotherhood, through accountability partner. Because you're delivering a hard truth so this person can better themselves. And I think a lot of times we be passive and we take the easy way out. We know we should say something, or we know that our friend is acting kind of crazy, or our friend is being delusional, or our friend is, being in sin. It's like we have to. It's like as we mature as adults, we also in having these conversations because we want to move forward. I think these conversations pushes us and challenges us to a higher standard that's ultimately only going to better us. But the conversation is so hard, or it can be a risky conversation, and people avoid it a lot, and people go stumble. And I think it just shows a level of true love, but it has to come from a place. It's like obviously it has to come from like a graceful place. You have to do it kind. Delivery does matter, and I think you also have to be able to take it back as well. Accountability can't be just a one way. You can't just, I'm your accountability person and I'm just gonna tell you this is what you're doing wrong all the time, and I'm gonna embark my wisdom onto you and you have to listen to me. It's not what accountability is. It's like you
Mm-hmm.
are both running after the sanctification and the principles and values of the standard that you both saying like I want to live this way, I want my character to be this way, I want to behave in this way. So we both are checking each other. It's a round trip. It's a brotherhood. Like there's so many examples and verses in the Bible that say we have to be, have endurance, have steadfastness, but it's not by yourself. You have your community, you have your church, you have your brotherhood, and you got the people around you to push you to be better. It's kind of like, to me, I only want people around me that's going to tell me the hard truth, that's going to push me to be better.
yeah.
Obviously the delivery has to be the correct way and has to come from the correct way. Now, only way, like kind of like TJ said, like I have some close friends say certain things to me, but I knew maybe it came from a wrong place, or they don't have the correct perspective enough where they just telling me something that they really don't know what they're talking about. But that's through the Holy Spirit, wisdom, and discernment. It's just the fact that you're open to it. You're at least listening. If you're
Yeah.
just not listening and your heart is hardened and you're not taking any advice, or you're surrounding yourself with people that's not going to tell you anything, you're kind of like the top dog and you're telling everybody stuff. Nobody's holding you accountable. Then it's like that's the danger zone. That's where we get unbiblical. And also, I think if we hear somebody, say certain things that doesn't go along with the Bible, I definitely think you got to check that person every single time. Every time somebody goes unbiblical, you gotta push them in the right direction. Because if you don't, it's kind of like you're standing right beside them. You're agreeing with them, and you also not really showing love. You know the truth, but you're not saying nothing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah. I feel that.
Mhm.
I feel that.
I have a
Go
question.
ahead, Purple.
So if you have let's say you have a friend or someone that you love in your life that you know you need to hold accountable. and you've tried to hold them accountable, and you've had this conversation with them, but they're completely offended by it. Do you just pray for that person? Do you still mention it every time this person does this action or does this thing because you love them so much? Like, what is something that you would do?
Yeah, I think prayer definitely is involved. And I think you have to continue showing, being kind of like, not want to say the example, but you have, if you are both trying to follow God and this person is clearly saying, like, I do love God, but I'm going to keep doing this instead,
Mm-hmm.
then it's kind of like, after those conversations not really going anywhere, you got to continue to follow the faith. And you also have
Yeah.
to continue being, the person that's loving them and serving them. We're still called to do those things. So it's like, I'm not going to, avoid it or drop the friendship or shame them. It's much more of
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm going to at least allow that always be there. That's why the delivery is so important. Because if you are delivering it in the wrong, correct way, and you cause it the bridge to just break in half, now you lost a friendship as well as trying to, correct someone. We have to make sure that we show them the same love, the same grace, the same mercy, and most importantly, the same forgiveness that Jesus did to us as well. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to display that. And a part of that, we denied, Jesus, some of us all our life. And it's like we've done that to him, and yet we want to condemn people that do that to us. It don't work like that.
Me and
I was
Byron
just
just had a conversation about this the other day.
I was about to say yes. I just went through this to where I don't necessarily agree with one person and how they feel about a situation. And so I literally had to humble myself and remember that how many times I've done this to God as well. Like there's been too many times where he's told me something and I've been like, no, I'm gonna do what I want. And
Right.
still with the grace and with the mercy and with the love of God, he stayed close and never left me nor forsook me. And so I think that there's just too many times where we just throw people away because we don't like, what they do or how they feel. It's kind of like we were talking about last week, 2 weeks ago, with people and maybe the different lifestyles that they chose. I think too often we just throw people away because we disagree. And that's not the
Mhm.
case. I think accountability is you really have to, one, if you want accountability, you have to find somebody that
We're gonna hold you
knows you,
accountable.
right? Somebody
Yeah.
that knows you, and then somebody that can like know you. It's like no, like no, we not doing that, and truly allowing that person to be a guide and a picture of true love and grace in your life. If you don't have that person, if you don't know that person, if you don't want that person, that's fine. But at the end of the day, when you're asking for accountability, I think that it truly comes from a place of love, it comes from a place of wanting to grow, wanting to be better. When you look at any type of garden, any type of tree, any type of fruit, any type of plant, every single one of them has to be pruned in order to grow. Every single one of them has the accountability of the gardener to make sure that they're being cut and pruned and trimmed and placed here, pulled out of the rain, put into the sun. Every single one cannot do it by
Oh, that boy
themselves.
said
And so,
prunes. That boy in his
and
Bible.
in order for it to grow, it has to be cut. It has to be cut back, it has to grow and all of that. And so, and if it's
Mm,
not growing, it gets cut completely. And so
mm.
when we ask for God for wanting to do more or we're wanting to be better or God, I'm being modest, God, I'm doing this, God, I got accountability, God, I got this, but we still don't want him to truly prune us in a way, it's going to be really difficult.
Well,
And
preach,
so
preacher.
Prune.
one of the ways that I feel like that we can kind of miss the mark sometimes is in our relationships. A lot of times we can be so excited about the blessing of a new relationship, and we feel like um, once we get it, we're kind of just done with maybe listening to accountability or listening to what we should or shouldn't do. And so Bilo had this question or this topic that I'm gonna segue into now. I say Bilo because I think it's a great idea, or at least a great topic, and I just don't want nobody to be mad at me because
Wow.
obviously I just want to make
I'll be
sure.
the
Y'all
bad
get
guy
ready.
on this
Y'all
show.
get
I'm
ready to drop
fine
your
with being the
comments.
bad guy.
No, no, no,
I'm
no,
Drop your
I'm
no.
ready.
comments.
I'm good with being the bad guy. I'm
Drop
good.
your
No,
comments.
I'm just saying, I just wanted to make sure that the people knew that I just think it's amazing. So we're going to go into it. And also, anyways, Bilo had the question.
Go ahead,
When it
Bulo.
comes when it comes to accountability, when it comes to being modest, when it comes to all these different things, there's also another way that maybe sometimes we can either get it right or we might miss the mark. Who knows? We're gonna hopefully answer that now. But when you're in a relationship, a dating relationship, and you guys are not officially married yet, you guys are trying to figure it out. Maybe you're engaged, maybe you're not engaged. For you to go on ahead and move in with each other? Should that be later? Should you guys wait until marriage? What does that look like? Why should you do it? Why do you care? Why do you not care? We're going to start with the start of the show.
I mean, go ahead, Faith. Yeah.
Okay.
Knock it up, please.
You know, I just watched a show on Netflix that said that it was Love Is Blind. I watched Love Is Blind on
Oh
Netflix,
Lord.
and it basically said, because it's kind of like an arranged marriage, technically, because
Uh-huh.
you know they don't see each other, they meet after they propose, but they said that 65% of marriages of couples that live together before they get married are like 65% likely to fail.
Wow.
And I think it was, might be a little off. I think it was 75 or something along the lines of arranged marriages work, are successful. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
It is
We
crazy.
all
Wow.
we all
Honestly,
know
think
it's
about
we
it.
all but we all know it's wrong, and we're not supposed to live with, you know, you're not supposed to live with your fiance before you get married, stuff like that,
Wait, one
because it
more.
might cause you to stumble.
Can you say this?
65. You're 65% more likely to get a divorce if you move in with your partner before y'all get married. And
Okay.
then 75% of marriages, of arranged marriages, are successful.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay. That's a good
Go
statistic.
ahead,
Thank
go
you, Faith,
ahead,
for the
Bilo.
stats.
Go ahead, Bilo. You wouldn't know that if you
I
wouldn't
think
have seen Love Is Blind.
I agree with everything Faith said. I think beforehand, I would say before, because I actually lived with the girl I was dating before, so I have experience in this personally.
Did you
And
really?
see, you all up in my business, but yes, I did.
Hmm.
But
I I didn't know. I didn't know that either. That's pretty. I mean,
Me
I'm
either. What was
oh yeah, I mean
glad that you.
yeah. I'm an open book.
No, I'm just saying. I'm glad that you asked the question of something that you act. That's great.
experience?
Yeah. It's for the people. It's for the people.
Yeah.
It ain't about me. So anyway, so it's like I coming from experience, even when like beforehand, I would say just kind of give the context. At that time, I mean I wasn't really walking with God. I wasn't really going to church like that. Wasn't really reading the Bible like that. Was praying, but I was praying for just like balance and stability, financially, all these kind of things. But ultimately, I thought I could handle my own situation, my own life. So it's kind of like I know this what it says in the Bible, but I had the intentions on marrying this girl. I'm serious about this girl, and we don't live in the same city. So it's kind of like this is the whole, you know what I mean? It's like this is like the next step. So it's like those are the reasons and justifications for me doing it. And before the relationship, I believe that it was really good. Things was going really well. And when we moved in 2 or 3 months later, things kind of took a change. Things shift. And I'm just like, where was this coming from? And honestly, I don't know if it's directly tied to us moving in together. I don't think it helped at all. But I do think that looking back on it now, I would never do it again. Not only because of that experience, but also kind of like how Faith stated, the statistics also shows that cohabitating couples are more likely to fail. So it's like not only that we're not supposed to do it biblically, but if we even do it, the culture is telling us by the stats that it's more likely to fail. And then it goes even deeper where the kids, if you are cohabitating, you all have to get pregnant and have a kid together, and that's kind of the foundation of the family. Those kids are 12 times more likely to have emotional and behavior issues as they grow
Hmm.
up. So it's like you had like me learning all this information on top of me trying to do it my own way. I tried to do it my way. But God clearly shows us the way to do it. He clearly shows the pathway, and it's clearly by his design. So for my realization, it's like I tried it my way. It failed flat on my face, hard and quick. So it's like, oh, I'm going to do God's way, the biblical way, because even by the statistics and by what society is showing us, that's clearly not working. It's clearly not working. They say, because also I got some stats too. They say 1 in 6 couples that cohabitate are more likely going to break up before 3 years, and only 1 out of 10 couples make it 10. 1 out of 10 couples make it 10 years. So it's kind of like what that tells me is if you want your relationship to fail, live together. That's what kind of like that's kind of like what it says, especially if you all are not walking with God as well. Like I'm not saying that you have to have specific actions and works behind the walk, but you got to at least be getting fed the word, and that conviction should be there. You know what I mean? You can't ignore the conviction. You know what I mean? And trust me, it was in there for me. It was just sitting right here to hope. And I think that's why I gained weight, because of conviction.
All right.
It swelled you.
You're right.
I
You're right.
mean,
You're right.
you
You're
were
right. You're
getting
right.
a
You're
little.
right. All right, come on,
TJ.
calm down, Faith. Calm down, Faith. You ain't got just calm down though.
It's okay.
TJ,
But look,
What?
somebody commented. Somebody said, "What about co-parenting?"
what about co-parenting? Should you live together if
What?
you're co-parenting?
Like, I don't know. They said, "What about co-parenting?"
I saw that as well, but I didn't know what
That's
that
my
meant.
man. That's my man. That's G Lee. That's G Lee.
Julie,
Shout out to
what do
G
you
Lee,
think about
man.
What's up, G Lee? Um,
TJ, you going ahead and
I,
go, and then
I,
you
I,
can answer that
I'm gonna,
question.
yeah, I'm gonna spin the block. So, with the stats all bubbled up in there,
Bubbled
okay.
up.
What about? Okay, so what about the other percent who's like realistically trying? Like, okay, so all right, so they're living together, whatever, but they're doing. I don't want to say what they feel is necessary to do to keep the relationship, on the right path. They're
Mm-hmm.
doing, they're going to church. They're having those conversations and XYZ. They're playing. They're being safe. What is the downside to those people? Because I feel like there's also a very handful of people who are living that life. They are on the straight and narrow, but they might not. They probably ain't straight, but it's very walkable. It's a very walkable path.
Oh my gosh.
But they're not like they're
not
not like,
straight.
yeah, it's not like straight, but
But it, but
Yeah, I
it, but it
mean, I
ain't,
think.
but it
Go
ain't
ahead,
super
Byron.
crooked. No. I'm trying to help TJ.
it's
I'm with you.
it's a
I
little,
understand. Keep
it's a
going.
little crooked. But
Yeah, I see where you're going.
it's like you're not blind to the issues. You're not blind to the other stuff that's going on and whatever, but you are legit trying to do your best to stay on the path. So I mean, I'm not schooled on that Bible verse as far as what it says about the whole thing,
Let's
but
see where we can find it. Where we can find it, Byron,
Google.
Which one did you looking for?
To not live with your partner.
'Cause I ain't schooled on
Before you
it.
get married. Does it say that in the Bible?
It might not say it
I think it
explicitly, but
says
you have to read
I
it in
think
straight.
I think the
context.
scripture. I think the scripture is probably going to be like to steer away from all evil, or to steer away from anything that looks like evil.
Yeah, I was about to say. So
But I mean,
Proverbs.
is it?
Go ahead.
Oh, there it is.
Because then it may look like you guys are shacking.
Yeah.
Here's
But are
here's
you?
my
You don't have to be.
here's my take on it.
Mm,
I'm not.
Mm.
It's kind of like the same thing we were talking about. When it comes to being underneath this submission to Christ, right? You believer when you are wanting to be under submission to Christ. Although it might seem like the greatest thing that you should do, I can't do it because I'm in submission. I just can't. It would be a whole lot easier for me to. It might make more sense for me to, but because my own conviction, or because I'm telling me not to, or because I know that if I do this, I'm gonna do something that I shouldn't do, I can't do it. I know that for Jordan and I, it was not going to be very beneficial for us to move in together before she got married. Would it have been easier? Yes. I moved to Detroit. She was still living in Greenville. Her apartment was about to, her lease was about to end pretty much right when I moved. It would have made way more sense for her to move to Detroit with me. We start our life together. We're not married yet, but we're going to get it together. I don't think anybody would have thought twice like non-believers. Believers obviously would have judged, but it would have made sense. Right? Save us a lot of money. But my wife and her knowledge and her wisdom, and obviously, I mean, but she said, you know what? I got some friends that live here in Greenville. They got a bedroom. That's all I need. I'll be there until we get married. I'm gonna make it work. And she was there for like 6 to 7, maybe even 8 months, living at their home. Thankful for the people that did it. But I think God blessed us in that, to where we said, God, we're under submission, because we know that if we do live together, we're gonna do some stuff that we probably shouldn't be doing right now. And if we did live together, we probably also gonna take of under of kind of like the statistic said, as far as like moving together, before you're married, because somebody also said in the IG comments that, like, it's almost like you're going into this marriage, or you're going into this relationship, and you're not even trying to up for excitement, or she said, what is keeping you there? If you guys are already moving together, why should you get married? Is essentially what she was saying. So I know not everybody might feel that way. Not every relationship is that way. I know some people that have lived together since they've been dating, and they moved in at 21 years old, and they've been married for 20 years. So that doesn't necessarily matter. I just feel like when it comes to you setting yourself up for success, you always want to try to do that as best as you can. And in doing that, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's you making sure that you're sacrificing your own desires or your own flesh or your own whatever, to making sure that you're doing what you feel like God wants you to do. There are tons of Bible verses in Proverbs that talk about straying away from evil. Evil being sex before marriage, or evil being putting yourself in a situation where you don't want to be. But also as well, there are people that you just looked at each other, said I do, and then it was a wrap. There was no type of legit marriage ceremony. A lot of times, as soon as you consummate, y'all were married. Look at that as well, and being like, well, we married even though we're not physically married, and that's cool too. So there's a whole lot of different ways I think that you can look at it. But I would honestly say that at the end all be all, it ain't gonna be that beneficial. It's most beneficial for you to make sure that you are setting yourself up for success by making sure that you are paving the way for yourself and also for your bride. I feel like, especially girlfriend, if y'all are moving in together, then obviously y'all love each other that much to where y'all would want to get married one day. If y'all are moving in together, y'all living together, and y'all don't like each other or love each other that much, I find that weird. I don't understand that. But if y'all are moving in together, I would think y'all's relationship where y'all.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I don't feel like if you would take that. I don't think you would take that step if you didn't. I don't feel
Well,
like.
see,
But I feel
this
like
is where it gets complicated, TJ.
And if
Where
you're
it's like there's no specific Bible verse that said, "Hey, this is prohibited," but it could show these 3 things. Where one, a lot of people cohabitate, like, trying to test the whole marriage out, right? But I think also that comes with having sex. A lot of people were like, "Well, I want to test drive the car before I actually buy it." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, right? The thing is with that, it's like once you test drive the car, a lot of people keep test driving. You know what I mean? It's hard to stop after that. So it's kind of like now you're living in kind of like sexual immorality. So we already know that goes against the Bible. So boom, right? The second thing is if we're called to be ambassadors or representations of Christ, or we're supposed to be the mirror image to the gospel, all those things. If we are living with someone, with a woman, and we're not married to her, what does that say about us as a man? Like, why aren't you you already committed in that sense, but you're not committed all, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's not the best look, a part of just kind of like the God. Like, just imagine you want to share the gospel with somebody, or you're trying to lead these young guys or whatever, but meanwhile this is like something that's really frowned upon, but you're kind of doing it. It kind of create this, this kind of damage effect of us, trying to be representations of God. And then also, it's just like you playing with fire. You know what I mean? Like, you're literally living in the fire, where we know life happens. We can go out one night. It can be a fun time. We can have some drinks. We can go on vacation. Even going on vacation, another hot topic. So you go on vacation together, and live and stay in the same room before marriage. That's another hot topic. But you already know when you go on vacation, you already know what's going down. You feel me? Well, we out there, TJ. We might as well act a fool with it. You know what I mean? So it's like we're living in the fire and we're expecting us not to fall when we fall most of the time. And I think those are a reason. Like I say, even statistically, it's not really benefiting the relationship at all. So those are kind of like, and then also, my last point, I'll stop talking. Every couple that I've known that they have demonstrated God designed pre-marriage have the best marriages I know. The ones they maybe stumble once or they stumble at all, but they never lived together, right? And but and their marriages are the best marriages I know. And even us, TJ, we have a close friend that had a house that was paid for, that was moved in already, had a fiance, and that fiance didn't move in until after the wedding day. You know what I mean? And shoot, they've been how long they've been going 3 years strong, 2 years, 3 years, 3 years strong now. So it's kind of like, that is also an example of just something that's like it can be done. It's been done before. People have practiced it, before. So it's like it's not an excuse. Is it harder? You daggone right, it's harder. Are you going to spend more money? Probably yes. You got to buy gas? Yes. You got to do all that kind of stuff to go see the person. But you got to figure out what's the ultimate priority, what is the ultimate motivation behind it. You know what I mean? The motivation behind it, should be biblical versus like, convenience. I'm gonna stop talking.
No, I mean, I think that was all
No, you're
good.
not.
Everything you said was good.
Okay,
I'm
Vila.
not taking away from that at all.
No, not at
I
all.
I just was gonna say this. If you don't, and this isn't necessarily towards anybody specifically, but I
True,
mean,
true, true.
if you don't care, then you don't care. Like I was seeing somebody in the comments, they're saying they got to check the efficiency before they get married, and I understand that mindset, and I get that. You want to make sure that everything's good. You want to make sure her feet don't stink. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And sure, if that's how you want to do it, that's fine. But if you're not again under the submission, if you're not trying to live life holy, if you're not wanting to go and do that, somebody said being broke in this
And
economy.
in this economy,
I
in
get
this
it.
That boy
inflation,
Gary, man, Gary's hilarious, bro. Gary,
G
he's been
Lee,
funny,
G
bro.
Lee cutting
G
up.
League, man, cutting up, bro. That's facts though. Inflation is
That is
crazy.
fact.
The economy giving us a reason, giving us a layup to do it.
You know what's crazy?
But
I
that's the
know.
thing. But see, that's the thing. At the church,
G Lee,
we
I
ain't
seen
supposed
your
to look
rent
like
price,
everybody
bro.
else. Oh, here we go.
G Lee, I seen your rent price, bro. I understand.
Listen,
Yeah, he
I
living
actually
in the wrong state.
actually met this girl that literally was dating this guy. They had moved in together, and they got married just for the tax benefit. Like I was like, "Are y'all in
Ooh.
love? Yeah, whatever." They're like, It's really just for to break up on the taxes." So,
Ah,
and all that to say that what I was saying was that if you don't care, if you're not trying to be under submission, because I say try because we all mess up all the time. But if you're not wanting to do that, then it don't really apply to you. Like you can do whatever you want. You are your own leader. You are your own. You're subject to whatever you want to do, and that's where you want to do it. That's cool.
but
This is this is
statistically, it's
only for
more
the
your
people that
relationship is more likely going to fail.
for sure, for sure.
So,
Statistically, what? No, I mean statistically yes, but I would just say more than likely you're gonna get to a point where the question is like, what's the end all be all of this? Like, because just like every relationship, you start to have tension. Relationship, it starts to not be 100%. Just like every relationship, you have these things, and what I use or what I go back on is my commitment that I made to Jordan. I made a commitment to her that I was going to be X, Y, and Z. And so whether I feel it or not, you think I feel like being married every day? Think I feel like doing the certain things that it is for to be a husband every day? Heck no. I just want to go. I want to go fishing. I want to go and I want to do it by myself or whatever. But I am because of the commitment that I made, I am again subject to what I said, who I am. And I think that that's one of the reasons why relationships don't really work when they move in together, because when you move in together, you start to realize that people really stink up the bathroom, or people don't brush their teeth or whatever. And then you kind of ask yourself, in that case, I don't really want to be with this person anymore. Now that I think about it, there's no commitment left.
I think women go crazy, bro. I think women go crazy without the commitment. Honestly, like they just go
Well,
crazy without the commitment. I don't
it's
trust in none of them.
it's another C
Wait,
that goes up in there.
tell
It's
us a
another
little
Yeah,
bit
C
no,
more.
that
you want me?
goes.
I would love to explain. Faith, go ahead. My bad, TJ. Go ahead.
In one
No,
sentence.
okay. So I'm gonna drop you. I'm gonna drop my C, and then you come on back to that. You say
Go
it's
ahead.
commitment. Then the other C would be what? Communication.
Very true.
Because, oh Lord, brother,
Very true, TJ.
good
That's
God
true.
Almighty, when you get in one, you don't realize how much you got to do. That second one, bro, you don't realize how much you got to do. The little,
That
the
second one tough,
littlest. That
That's
second
man.
one
facts.
is a banger. It's like it's so simple, but it's so hard. And that was what I learned. That's what I learned.
Big
This
facts.
Bro,
whole
Big facts.
you know what another crazy stat is before I get into how women are crazy? Um, is that
Keep
the
going,
Lay it, lay
Mila.
it,
cohabitating, yeah,
lay it.
the cohabitating man, he is more likely, 4 times more likely to cheat on his girl.
The
You know
what
why?
man?
Mm.
The man that you living with is more
Okay.
four times more likely to cheat more than husbands. You know why? There's no
Why?
real commitment. That's why ain't no covenant. There ain't no real consequence. You know what I mean?
How
You
are
lose
women
your
crazy?
okay, bet. I would love to tell y'all women crazy.
Let's do it wrap around.
Below,
So
I just want to let you know before you get started, before you cook, you are still single, and I just want to make sure you know. I don't know if you're about to help your cause or not. Just want
no, it's
point it
all
out to
good,
you.
brother. No,
Okay.
I'm saying this stuff out of love. You
You
know what
see
I
how
mean?
me and TJ,
I'm
we
not
about to be real quiet. Go ahead, cook.
I'm not worried
Oh no,
about
not me.
yeah, no, they can feel any kind of way about me because I know I'm coming from a good place. Now I'm not calling them crazy as like they are actually
Delivery is
crazy.
everything.
Absolutely. I think when it signals when we move in with a woman, it signals long term like commitment, but it's not true commitment because there's no real skin in the game. So I think that emotionally it can drive the woman kind of up and down just because she doesn't really know if you're going to be here or not. I have experience with that where it's kind of like you really understand and know your woman when she's emotionally attached to you. So
Hmm.
when things go wrong, you'll see how she responds. When she gets angry, you see how it responds with debates, communication. You see how it responds. But on top of the commitment, I mean, on top of moving in together, having sex, going on dates, traveling, showing off to friends, going to meet family members, sometimes people have kids. You're doing all these marriage things without the commitment. How how are they going to remain stable if they don't even know you're going to be here? So I think any type of argument or really bad fight, she already knows, and also the man knows too. They already know they can walk away kind of scot free. There's no real commitment. There ain't no covenant before God, and I think that can cause a lot of tension in the communication and even just the behavior with the woman, just because she doesn't have that protection, like she doesn't have that true commitment, and I think that can also weigh on her mentally.
But it could weigh on you mentally too, even if you are married, because people still,
Mm.
even if you are
There it is.
married, men still step out of their marriage and do
That's the
whatever they want to
Facts.
do.
that's the one.
So
Yeah,
it's
but like
not
I
a
said,
ring or
no, that's fact. No, that's fact. I think, like I said, the cohabitating man has less consequences than the man in the marriage. The man in the marriage is more likely or less likely to cheat on you. Now, does it still happen?
okay.
Yeah, you're right. It does still happen. But I'm saying is that you get the true commitment, the true covenant versus a long test drive. And it's kind of like it's like a long tease almost. Like we're playing house, we're playing family, but there's no true commitment behind it. And like I said, at least from my experience, I don't know how you feel about it, Faith, as a woman, but
Hmm.
I just feel like you will see the best out of your woman if she knows that you're truly committed to her versus kind of like saying it and then not really displaying it, in
Hmm.
some kind of adequate amount of time, which is that subjective and all those things. All I'm saying is like, yeah, married men cheat, cohabitating men cheat, all those, yeah, men cheat, but it's kind of like the man also understands the level of consequences. He's going to lose his kids. He's going to lose his wife. He's going to bring shame upon his family. It's like it's a bigger level of consequence versus if I just break up with a girl. Like I said, y'all never knew I was living with a girl, so it ain't even affect y'all. It ain't got nothing to do with y'all. The consequence wasn't that bad. If y'all knew I was married and I was out here stepping around doing all the things, then it would hit a little different. I think we
Hmm.
understand that. I think we know that. So I think you just give a level of your woman a sense of peace because she know that you're already always committed to her. And like I said, I think that's just a level of love that also Jesus displayed to the church as well.
Can I can
Just
I
add
can I
that
hit y'all
in.
can I hit y'all with a curveball?
Mm-hmm.
Please, brother.
My personal opinion for somebody that's been married before, second time around. Um, I honestly would rather somebody, and this is just the human side of me. I don't know if this is very me or anything like that, but I would rather see a couple that is living together live together than to see a couple get married based off of the reasoning being because of security or because of making them feel better about their relationship or whatever, knowing that if that is the foundation of their marriage, it's gonna fail no matter what. So I'd rather have that person. I mean, I'd rather not live together at all. But if they were those next steps, knowing that the only reason why they're getting because they just want to
Peace,
have this
commitment.
sort of
Yeah, no,
peace or
I mean,
or community or anything like that. And I'm not saying that you're saying that, Bila. I'm just saying,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if that is your reasoning for getting married, don't do it. Do whatever y'all want to do because y'all are already missing the mark. Like God created marriage. That's why no other type of way we can look at marriage besides the way that God ordained it. God made it. God also made sex. It's beautiful. It is amazing. And it's 10 times more beautiful and 10 times more amazing when you do it the way that God ordained it and God designed it and God wanted
But
it
you
to
know
be.
why, Byron? You know why it's 10 times better?
You tell me why. Go ahead.
There's no conviction. That's why.
That's
There's no
it.
sin
But
involved.
that's true.
So it's
That's
kind of
true.
like my thing is if your best experience is going to be in marriage. Your best experience in your relationship is going to be in marriage because there's no sin and there's no conviction. Like
You gotta
that's
talk
what I
about.
think we have to understand and we
But
have to realize that because it's like
but
if we had sex before marriage, we're in sin and we should have conviction. That's true. That's true to everybody. We all been there. So I ain't trying to throw stones at nobody. I'm just speaking facts. My thing is sex will be 10 times better because there's no conviction. There's no sin involved. You're married. Yeah, I mean it's
yes.
glorified. Go crazy. Like do all the crazy stuff y'all want to. Y'all married. You know what I mean? I got you know what I mean? That's why it's better. So it's kind of like you sacrifice now, delay gratification, so your marriage can be 10 times better than normal. So you can have that true experience of what God designed marriage to be. So it's like we can make up all kinds of reasons, justification. Like I said, it's very easier said than done. You know what I mean? Easier said than done. That's why I'm having the conversation because I don't know everything, and I just want to talk about it. But I think also we have to be at a level where it's like living a Christian life is going to look weird, it's going to look different, and it's going to be very difficult. We can't make it easier and justify it and think it's all gravy. That's all I'm saying. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me.
I
You
think
know what I mean?
that
Don't shoot me though.
Nah.
I think that you're making a great point. But what I was gonna say was that yes, you're correct in the way that you are perceiving it. But again, I think that anytime you take anytime you take something that was created by somebody and you try to change it from what it was originally created to do, you're gonna miss the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I take a Tesla and try to do something different than other than what it was designed to do, it's not gonna work. It was designed to
That's how you know
drive
you're a preacher.
automatically. It was not meant to take gas. It's meant to take
You see how
electric.
he was just
You can't
whatever
turn
Yeah,
a
it is.
Tesla to a
illustration.
Maybach. You can't turn
Yeah.
no
Whatever
Tesla to no Bentley.
That was good, Byron. That was
whatever
You
it
good.
can't
is,
cut the top when you feel like it.
that is what it's designed to do. I know some of the Teslas got butterfly don't. And I remember this one
Yeah.
guy, he said, I'm gonna make mine the butterfly doors, and he tried to make it. It just that is not what it was meant to do.
He didn't make a butterfly. He made a moth.
He made a Tesla.
A
And
moth
so
Tesla.
when it comes to again relationships, or even when it comes to this idea of having sex before marriage or moving in together, things like that, you're never going unless you ask the. And so how we do that, we go to a word. But again, if you don't care or if you don't really want to know, you got to figure it out. When we look at people like, and I hate to name names, but you can look at famous people. I don't know. You could name somebody that's had 100 relationships or whatever. The reason why is because,
Kim K.
okay. So if you look
Lori
at,
Harvey.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, if you look at these people, they're setting themselves up uh, for non-success because they're trying to create or they're trying to recreate something that was created a certain way. This is why relationships and this is why marriage, this is why relationship topics are so they go viral because people are constantly like, how can I get it right? How can I get it right? What can I do? This is why I was telling Bilo when we were talking about having these conversations. I know that relationships is what we're obviously is what people want to know. But my thing is like, man, it was made, it was created, it was designed by God. And so that's why I don't want to keep talking about it because I'm gonna have to keep giving you the same answer. It's you keep getting it wrong because you're not doing it right. Whether it's
Yeah.
you living together, whether it's you doing this or stepping out, whether it's you DMing women while you married, whether it's you going to these type of places when you married and you know that he don't want you to go, whatever it is, my whole entire life now, like I'll say it like this, and then we can end after this or somewhere around here. I was telling this guy the other day. He was asking me about relationships. He is wanting to get involved a little bit more intimate as far as possibly pursuing his girl to get married. They're both younger. Um, no, I really think I want to get married to this girl. What do you think about it? How should I go about it? What's the best way to do it? And I told him like this, and I don't want you guys to laugh, even though it might sound funny, and especially for TJ, because I know TJ is getting close to that step because he's in love with his girl. My man, he's gonna get married, and I think to her, she seemed like the bomb.com. He seemed like she got a one. He don't just got a woman, he got a wife. You know what I'm saying? He don't just got somebody that just
Must be nice.
love him for him. You know what I'm saying? TJ, he's putting the work, he putting the time. That's why he got a good woman. I'll say it like this. I told him, I said, man, if you want to get married, there's something that you want to do. Are you willing to die? Are you willing to lay down your life for your wife, for your partner? Are you ready to just give it all up and say, I am subject, I am whatever this person wants me to do, however this person wants it to ride, that's how I'm wanting it to go. And then the flip side is also to that person, to your girl or whatever. Is she ready to die? Is she ready to say whatever he's down for, whatever he wants to do, however he sees it, that's how we're going to do? Are you ready for that? Because if you're not ready for that, then you're not already, you're setting yourself up for failure because this is exactly how Jesus did the church. Jesus said, listen, this is my bride, the church. In order for me to fully love them, I need to die. I need to lay my life down in order for them to have the full fulfillment of what this relationship is supposed to be. And so I know it sounds really extreme. I know it sounds really, really crazy, death. But obviously, I don't mean literally. No, I'm not saying that you can't have your hobbies. No, I'm not saying that you can't do this. No, I'm not saying that you can't still go to the gym. No, I'm not saying that you can't still hoop or hang out with the guys. No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that when you say, I'm taking this whole person and this whole person, I'm becoming one, there's no more TJ. There's no more Bilo. There's no more Byron. It's us. It's not just me. Whenever y'all call me and I'm like, yo, what's up? I'm with my wife, or whenever we say this, or anytime I want to go somewhere, I'm checking in with her because we're one. I can't just get up and go if I want to. That part of my life is dead. I can't just, in order for me to do this live right now, it is 10:40 at night. I had to ask my wife first. Couldn't just do this. I said, hey, babe, do you mind if we possibly go until 11 o'clock tonight? And I think the reason why relationships don't work is because they think that they're just still them. It's commitment and communication. Absolutely. You got to communicate. You got to communicate. And so I think that it is going to be tough for you to. I think it's going to be tough for you to have a successful relationship if you don't plan on dying. I know that
Ooh,
sounds extreme, but
that boy just gonna give us the gospel at the end. Thank you, Byron. I
I know it's
appreciate
not,
that, brother.
I know, but I kind of like to make it extreme because it truly is like when TJ, whenever you about to get married and I'm standing up there and I'm doing the wedding and you see your wife walk down the aisle, she looking all beautiful and stuff. Just think about it. All right, this is it. I'm not just throwing in the towel. I am giving it up. I am officially. I'm dead. I'm dead. And I know it sounds extreme. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not trying to make it seem like that, but it truly is. That part of your life where you were just TJ is dead. You are no longer
Mm-hmm.
just TJ, the head of the house. You are now the person that is going to be leading this relationship spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
You are now the person that is going to be coveting and pushing and growing, helping grow your spouse, and vice versa. She is going to be somebody support her husband, that's going to push her husband, that's going to pray for her husband, that's going to believe in her husband. That if you say, "Hey, babe, we're moving to Athens," she's saying, "Okay, let's go," because I'm a ride or die. That's the type of relationship that it's going to be. Whenever we were moved to Detroit, which a lot of people for some are moving to Athens, a lot of people think that this was something she wanted to do. I completely until I mentioned it to her because her family's here. They think that she did it because I told her to. I told her, "Baby, it's what I'm feeling." She said, "Whatever the Lord tells you, let's go." And this is why I feel like our relationship works. It's just because she's like, "Listen, I'm a ride or die. Truly, that's what Jesus was. That's who he is to the church." TJ, final words.
My final words. Yeah, and just like you saying, I think it is like you said. When you taking that step, you have to be willing to die off a little bit. But I do feel a lot of these relationships don't have anyone who will take that death with them, and it's more like a fight. So if I could leave a word out there for anybody looking, searching, like my boy said, you better find you someone who's willing to die for you, die with you, be able to put that foot in the grave. Know that y'all going together. But like I said, man, I think the biggest thing with also everything has been like we talked, has been the two C's, which I feel like a lot of things are missing in relationships because it's really just the two F's. We won't go into those, but it's two F's that we can't really go into, but it's two F's instead of two C's. And if you're doing more of the two F's, it's not. I'm just being
I'm
real,
so
dog.
sick of TJ,
I'm
bro.
just
No,
being.
I'm sick of him. I'm sick of him.
I'm just being
I'm
real.
sick of him, bro.
I'm being a honey
Yeah,
bun. I'm being a honey bun with you. It's like the honey bun.
honey bun.
I'm
Don't
just being a
tell me
honey
to
bun
be the
with you.
honey bun with me no more, bro. Don't
I'm
tell me.
just
Don't
being,
call your. Don't do that no more.
TJ,
I'm just keeping it a honey
TJ,
bun.
you will always have the final words. Anytime you are on this podcast, have the final words. I don't care what anybody
Oh
says.
my
You
god.
will always have it. But
People,
Faith, did you have anything?
Y'all see the comments?
I know, I do
No,
see it,
actually,
and I don't know how
he
anyway,
been
many.
no,
who is he been playing all day.
who
Who
is
is this?
this? Who is
He been playing
two
all
Tilo
day.
is God?
I
I
don't
have
know,
no
but
idea who that
I'm
person is.
trying to
I don't
figure out if
know.
it's this person. I don't even want to tell YouTube what they said, but I don't know how real it is for this person. I I don't know, but honestly, that's a great topic for next time.
He said now.
He said now.
Person said
Okay,
I
my
need
Okay,
I
boy.
need
anyways.
Person said I need guidance with adultery. I can't stop. I think I'm addicted to pleasure. That is
He been
something that
playing
we are.
he been playing the whole live. Like he been
Okay,
playing like
okay.
the whole
This is
live.
that. Thank you, TJ, for keeping eyes. Go ahead, Faith.
He been
Oh, I don't have anything to say. But this was great, guys. I actually enjoyed it. No, I don't have any final words.
Faith, thank you so much for hopping on. Really, it was fun.
Byron,
I
thank you for
appreciate it.
asking me to do this because I would never. But I
Yes,
actually enjoyed this. This was interesting.
fellas,
It's
let's
because
give
I
Faith a
don't
round
do
of
a lot of
applause.
public speaking.
Thank you so much, Faith, for hopping on in and joining us for real. It was fun. Thank you, Bilo, for such amazing topics and questions and always keeping it real and relevant. TJ, thank you for being vulnerable, allowing us to dissect your life. And thank you, Faith, for allowing us the insight on how women might see things and how it might look. For tuning in, hopping in, joining in. We really appreciate y'all. We couldn't do it without y'all. We wouldn't want to do it without you. So thank you guys so much. This is our first time on YouTube. How you guys think it went? YouTube was cool.
My mom wants to say something.
Here we go.
She's coming.
My
She's been
my
holding.
mom
She's
is
been
here.
she's been holding it in
Wow.
this entire time.
Goodness gracious.
She's
Oh,
been
she
sitting
walked
there
out.
this entire time.
She came in. She walked in. She goes, "Just one little question, please." I said, "Okay."
Sounds like her.
No,
Do you guys think we
just
should?
walked out.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Do
she
you guys
left
think we
now?
should? Do you guys think we should interview my mom? Right?
You
It might be a little weird.
No, y'all
Oh
should
man,
because
I have
she
so
has
many
a lot
questions.
to say. Bilo and Kimberly.
I have so many
What?
questions.
I would tune in.
Wear your apron,
You know
Bilo.
what's a good topic? I don't know if I sent this already, but how do you cultivate a spiritual relationship with your partner? What does that look like? How do
Are
you
we
do
doing
that?
this? Are we
What are
doing
the
this next
steps?
time?
Save it,
We
save
can do
it,
that next
save it,
time
save
because
it, save it, save
nobody
it,
talks about
save
it.
it.
What does
Save
that even
it.
look like?
Save
No, but
it.
what does it look like? How do you cultivate a spiritual relationship with your
Bilo,
girl? How are you supposed to be
Bilo.
the head of the house and you're
This
supposed to
next
lead
episode.
spiritually? Okay, you're right. I'm just saying how.
This
How do you
next
do it?
episode,
We
you're
don't
gonna be in the
know.
kitchen, Bilo. You're gonna be in the
All
kitchen
right,
next
all right.
time, okay?
I'm just
You're
saying
gonna be
I
in the
don't
kitchen.
know. I don't know.
Give.
I don't know.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We got 7 days, man.
All right, all
We
right,
got
all right,
7 days.
all right, all right. I'm gonna
We
chill.
got,
I'm gonna chill.
we got 7 days, Bilo. Can you hold? Can you hang on?
I can hold it. I can hold it. I'll be
All
ready.
right.
Don't worry. I'll be ready.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much again for hopping into the Two Mice podcast, chillest pod that's ever been casted, with myself and Bilo and TJ and the one and only Faith Rito. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Can't wait to see you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you tell your mom and your daddy about it. Make sure you follow Bilo, TJ, and Faith on IG. Make sure you hit us up in the DMs. And always give you two mites in everything that you do. Love you guys. Peace.